Hello, welcome to another video by Dumb Data. In this video, we walk you through our free worksheet, which is the Google Analytics 4 migration worksheet. So it's not a new news. It's not new anymore that Google will be sunsetting universal analytics. So if you intend migrating your from Google Analytics, from Universal Analytics to Google Analytics 4, then this worksheet is going to be very helpful for you. It's very easy to use, and it also helps in documenting your migration process so that you don't miss out on anything that you find useful in Universal Analytics that you can also find in Google Analytics 4. So to get this worksheet, you have to just visit this page for this worksheet. You can find it by either if you're watching from YouTube, you can click on the link in the description section, or you can find the link to this page in the comment section. Without further ado, let's dive in. So all you have to do is just click on this button that takes you straight to the worksheet. It's a free worksheet. You don't have to give up your email to access this worksheet. Then you have to click on File to make a copy for yourself. Click on Make a Copy. Give it whatever name you want to give to it. Select a folder, all for organization purposes. You click on Make a Copy. Then boom, you have your copy for yourself and your team. Now, I'll just walk you through the worksheet. I won't show you like a real migration process, but just going to walk you through the worksheet. So all you have to do is just know that this is where you put in the tracking ID for the property that you want to migrate from, Universal Analytics property you want to migrate from. You put the number of views you have in that property. You put the property name, the account name, and if e-commerce is enabled, you put in yes. If it's not, you put no. And for GA4, you put in the new measurement ID, the property ID. There's a way to get this in Google Analytics, the number of streams you intend having in that particular Google Analytics 4. Then the e-commerce, if e-commerce tracking should be also enabled, you put yes. If you want to track e-commerce, you put in yes. Migration, the start date and the end date. This is just a date for you to put in your start and your end date. Then you come to this process. This is where you migrate whatever kind of pro leaking you have in Google Analytics 4, in Universal Analytics, you migrate them to Google Analytics 4. So if you are migrating Google Ads, if you have Google Ads linked, they also have to migrate it. Also, you have to link it here. You put in the account. You can put in one or two accounts by putting in comma. You put in the account ID. If you have Google Search Console linked in Universal Analytics, you have to select linked. Then you also have to link it here. Also, you put in the Google Console Search Console account also, probably the name or the ID. Then if BigQuery is also integrated previously in Universal Analytics using a third-party solution, or if you're on 360 which has a native integration with BigQuery, you put in linked, and you also kind of you know that you also link it while doing your stuff. So the first part is just to document what you have in your Universal Analytics in this worksheet. So also if you have Google Optimized linked, you also put that. There's some things that you find in Universal Analytics like the display and the video 360 for free account for non-360 customers, the campaign manager also for non-360 Universal Analytics customers. Then for GA4, you can also link those stuff like the master center, the ads manager, and etc. Then this is where you put in the domains you intend configuring. If you configure your domains, if you exclude referrals, if you exclude payment referrals, if you have data filter state set, and if you have data retention, all these are just for Universal Analytics. For your Google Analytics 4. Then in the comparison part, I'll walk you through this part. It's just where you compare the metrics data that you have in your Universal Analytics with Google Analytics 4. This is after you've completed your migration. So how do you migrate this stuff? You can migrate to the events. This is where you migrate events from from Universal Analytics to Google Analytics 4. So how do you intend to do this? First of all, you have to select the priority. So you put in let's say you have an event name, put in the event name, that's the event in the event name, which is the category, the event name, the category, and the event name, category name, the event category, the event action, event label, and event value. For example, you have an event with event name, event category, form submission, control enter, event action, contact form, event label, via phone call. Let's say your customer wants you to contact them back through phone call. So let's say this is the event in universal analytics. You put in the description like the way you want to describe the event. Okay, this is when a customer makes use of the contact form. Boom. Then how was this implemented on the site? Was it through Google Tag Manager? Was it through GTag? Or was it through a third-party integration or through measurement protocol? This is where you list out all the events you have in your universal analytics, this tab, their description, how do you implement them. And also this is just a part for to see which one is going to make it in the migration process. So for example, you have an event you don't want to move over to universal analytics, you have just come here and say, okay, this is approved. If you are still thinking of it, you put in to be decided. But if you are approved for this event to be migrated to Google Analytics 4, you click on the approved part. So when your team member comes, they know that, oh, this particular universal analytics event should be migrated to Google Analytics 4. So they won't bother about anything that is disapproved or to be decided, but they know that, oh, anything that's approved needs to be migrated to Google Analytics 4. Then this way you now come in and say, okay, for this particular event, what should the event name be? It should be generate lead. When should this trigger? When the user submits the form. Now, what is the event parameters you intend pushing for this particular event? Let's say I intend pushing the lead type, which signifies like the type of form the person fills in, the person filled on the site. Let's say I intend also pushing in communication com method. So like the communication method, then I know that, okay, I need to also push in these parameters when I'm firing this event in Google Tag Manager or in any way I want to intend to implement it. And do you want to also push in the user property when this event happens? It's left for you to decide. If you want to push in any, you also include that here. Then you move forward again. You see, how do you intend to implement this event, this Google Analytics 4 event? How do you intend to implement this GA4 event? So do you want to do, is it an automatically collected event? Or is it an enhanced measurement or recommended event? Or is it a custom event? Then also, this is the event type, not how you intend implementing. So I'm select the event type. Then how do you intend implementing this? So your team member understands how he or she needs to implement this. So there's a form method, which is the audience trigger. So should they do this in Google Tag Manager by using the audience trigger feature in GA4? Or should they make use of Google Tag Manager? Or should they make use of GTag? Or should they use created event in GA4? So you see, this makes it easy for your team member while implementing. They easily know, okay, this is the way I'm supposed to implement this. I'm supposed to implement this through Google Tag Manager. I'm supposed to implement this through audience trigger. When people from your team comes to this spreadsheet, they understand, oh, how this event was being implemented in Google Analytics 4. Then if you also want this to be marked as conversion, all you have to do is just click on the checkbox, and then the status is just for you to monitor the progress so far with the migration of this particular GA4 event. So you click on pending. If it's pending, you click on initiated if it's initiated. You click on in progress if it's in progress. You click on hold if it's on hold. You click on completed if it's completed. Then there's also a tab called custom dimension. So this is where you move the custom dimension you have in Universal Analytics to Google Analytics 4. So let's say, for example, you have a custom dimension name called, let's say the name is page type. So for the page type, you have to describe it so that stakeholders and anybody in the team understand what this dimension, this custom dimension is all about. Let's say it tells us the category of page, the page category, the user, it was sent from. Now, what type of scope is this dimension in your universal analysis? Is it a it scope? Is it a session scope? Is it a user scope? Is it a product scope? This is where you put those stuffs here. Then you also, the same migration status, should this be migrated? Should this be disapproved? Are you still deciding on this? You select your status. And this is where you now come and say, okay, what name should I give this dimension? Remember, Custom dimension are also sent in um, as event parameters in Google Analytics 4. So what name do you want to give it? Let's say I want to give it I'll give it page type. Yeah, same page type. I want to give it same description. What scope is it? For now, we have user and event scope in GA4. According to Google, they intend also pushing in more scopes apart from this in GA4. And the property that you intend, if you also want to push in a user property, you also want to register this as a user property also, you register that as a user property. So let's say, for example, this particular stuff is a user stuff, then it's not going to be pushed in here. You put it here as a page type and not here. So you put that here if it's for user, so that the person knows, okay, you can also put it here, yeah, you put it here, but you select user, then the property or parameter name. So this is the name, property parameter name. Same thing, just like the event name also here. So you also repeat the name here. So let's say, for example, I'm pushing in customer type, which happens to be, let me use as it, let me use as event. You have to describe. Then this is if it is completed or not. Now to put in the customer type, tells us if it's a customer that has bought or less bought before. Then this is your user type. I approve for this customer type. This is what I would give it in GA4. Same thing here. This is just for naming. You give it that, like the name is going to display in GA4, but this is what the parameter is going to be actually in GA4. So you can see it says the dimension name in GA4, how it should be displayed in the GA4 interface. So this does not really matter. This is just how it's supposed to be, how you want to be displayed in GA4. This is what the actual parameter is going to be. It can be an event or a user scope, user parameter. So you can click on the user here, give it a name, then the stuff. So this is just the dimension. You can leave this as page type. It's going to display in GA4 as page space type. Yeah, so that's just all about custom dimension. Same thing applies for custom metrics. So by this side is where you list out the custom metrics in you currently have your inverse analytics setup. This is where you select which one you should migrate, which one you approve for its migration. This is where you document which one you've you've moved to Google Analytics 4. Then use this part to kind of monitor the progress. So there are different metric scope also. Each session user product. There are different formatting type. There's an integer, there's a time, there's a currency, which is in decimal, and then there's a metric how you want to be displayed in Google Analytics 4, description for everybody, then the parameter name, the name you have the name of this stuff in your GTM as an event parameter, or in your GTM as a user property parameter, or how you want to push it. Let's say 2 created events, what name you want to give to it. And this is where you're also setting the unit of measurement. So in GA4, there's this unit of measurement. There's the standard, there's the currency, there's the feet in distance, there's the miles in distance, there's the meters in distance, there's the kilometers in distance, milestones, milliseconds in time, seconds in time, minutes in time, then hour in time. And there's the status whereby just for monitoring the progress of this stuff so far. Then you come into audiences, where you document the audiences you have in universal analytics. Same thing where it's currently published. Currently right now in Google Analytics 4, when you publish an audience, it gets published to Google Ads. Once you have it linked, it gets published automatically. So you don't have to worry about that. So this is just where you document what you have in universal analytics. This is where you approve what you want to approve. Then anything you approve gets moved over to this place in the way it's supposed to be in GA4. You put in the description what is the composition of the audience here in a way a layman understands. Same here as the composition also. And for the goals, this is where you list out all your goals you have in universal analytics. The goal type, is it a destination, is it an event goal type, is it a duration, is it a page per screen or per section or smart goal. you list out all those stuff here. Then what is the goal ID? The membership. So the membership, is it closed? Is it opened? Yeah. Then the migration status. Then also, what event do you intend to be that to replace this in Google Analytics 4? Then how do you intend to implement that? How do you intend to implement that event? What type of event is it? Sorry, is it automatically collected event, enhanced measurement? Is it a recommended event, or is it a custom event? Then how do you intend to implement this event? Remember, this part is just for the event. You can just come back here and look at it. Then also implement that here. And for the content group, most people are not aware of this. In GA4, you can also implement content group, but it's much more different from universal analytics and not that really flexible like we have in universal analytics. So this is where you put in the content group name, the content group description, the setting type in universal analytics. We have by tracking code, by structure, and then using rule definition. Then if you are approved for this to be migrated, you do that. Then the description is what is going to be in the content group, like the home. Like let's say for example, you have a content group called page type. Then in that page type, you have cart. So you have cart, you have product page, account, collection. So you can also put the group name here, the parameter name that is going to be the content group. Most time you just put in content group by default. Then you see that here, the content group name, implementation description, possible names in the group. You copy this, like the possible name that's going to be in the group. All these are descriptive to tell you what you should do here. Then how do you intend to implement this through GTag or GTM? So like how do you intend to push in this parameter through GTag or through GTM? Then pending is just want to monitor the status of this implementation of this content group. So we are probably working on an article or a video that works you out on how to implement content group. You can always check out on our YouTube channel to know when this video gets released, or on our site to know when the article gets released, so you know how to implement content group in Google Analytics 4. Also, there's a way to implement more than one content group in GA4, but it's just different from how you have it in universal analytics. Thank you for your time. This video is brought to you by Dumb Data. Dumb Data is a free analytics resource hub that builds free analytics resources to help you succeed with your measurement goals and help you get better with measurements. We have event listeners that allows you to measure different interactions and conversions of different tools, marketing tools you use on your website. We have over 36+ event listeners on our site that you can track user interaction of into Google Analytics or any other analytics tool you are using. Let's say for example Full Story, say for example Pivot Pro. Let's say for example you tend also tracking it for mixed panel or amplitude. With these event listers, you can track interactions or conversions of users with these tools into your analytics platform. We also have worksheets, and we have a lot of worksheets that you can use to document your analytics process, and also optimize and improve your analytics documentation processes. And these are all free to use. You don't have to give up your email or spare $1 to access these amazing tools. We also have dashboards for you, plug and play dashboard, GA4 dashboard, universal analytics dashboard that you can make use of. They are plug and play to monitor different metrics and to also still make sure you are proactive with your with meaningful data. We're also working on free tools that's going to also help you improve your measurement your measurement skill, and also help you get better with measurement and succeed with your measurement goals. Until then, happy measuring. Thank you for your time.